Alright, so there's been a major development in the ongoing conflict in Gaza. After months of back and forth, failed negotiations, and shattered hopes, Hamas has just said it has accepted the latest ceasefire proposal. But before we get too excited, let's break down what that actually means, and what it doesn't. So here's what we know. According to statements from Hamas, as well as multiple diplomatic sources, the Palestinian group agreed to a new ceasefire deal that was put forward by Qatari and Egyptian mediators. This proposal is apparently 98% similar to the last one the US backed. In other words, it's basically the same deal that's been sitting on the table for weeks, with just a few tweaks. The heart of the plan? A 60-day ceasefire. That's 2 months where, hopefully, the bombs stop falling and people get a break from the violence. But it's not just a pause in fighting. The deal is also tied to the release of hostages, something that's been a huge sticking point for both sides. Under this proposal, Hamas would release 10 living hostages, and 18 who are believed to have died while in captivity. The first day of the ceasefire would see 8 living hostages go home, traded for an unspecified number of Palestinian prisoners held by Israel. But, and this is important, Hamas doesn't want to release all the hostages at once. They say they'll stagger the releases basically to make sure Israel actually sticks to the ceasefire for the full 60 days. Now here's where things get messy. Israeli officials say they haven't even received a written response from Hamas yet. In other words, even though Hamas is saying, yeah, we're in, Israel's like, hold on, we haven't seen anything official. So technically nothing is locked in. It's more like an agreement in principle, a green light to keep talking, not a signed and sealed deal. Meanwhile, the details are still a bit fuzzy. Some Palestinian officials are calling this a framework agreement that could launch negotiations on a permanent ceasefire. So while it's a step forward, it's not the finish line. It's also worth noting that this is happening as Egypt and Qatar ramp up their mediation efforts, and the Qatari Prime Minister is reportedly heading to Cairo to push things along. The pressure is on from all sides, and the stakes couldn't be higher. We're talking about the potential for a rare window of calm in a region that's been locked in conflict for months. But the big question is, will this lead to a lasting peace, or is it just another brief pause before everything blows up again? The world's watching, families are waiting, and for the hostages and their loved ones, every hour counts. So for now, the answer is cautious optimism. Hamas says yes, Israel says not so fast, and the mediators are burning the midnight oil trying to get everyone on the same page. If and when the deal is officially accepted, it could be a turning point, or yet another false start. I'll keep an eye on this and break it down as soon as there's more. If you want to stay updated on this story, make sure to subscribe and hit that bell. I'll see you in the next one.